What's up, wrestling fans? Welcome to episode number 480 of the Smark Out Moment Smack Talk podcast Hot Tags of the Week, where we'll be breaking down some of the current events and the rumors and the news and the gossip and other things that have went down this week in the past few days in the world of professional wrestling. Professional wrestling. I'm just going to add some extra S's in there. I am Tony Mango. I've got with me Robert DeFelice.
Hey.
And Callum Wiggins.
Howdy.
It's been a while since we've had you on the hot tags because we're recording this Saturday afternoon instead of Friday night like we normally do. Shit happens.
Yeah, I know. I had to. Sometimes you just need to bring in the star power.
Yeah, you know.
And just try and keep this thing interesting.
You might be the Brock Lesnar or the hot tags, but you still show up here and there. You'll have more appearances on the hot tags than he might have in WWE this year. That's one thing.
I don't hope so. I'm at 1 now, so I think I've pretty much got it.
Yeah, you might have it locked in at that point with 1. So we got a couple hot tags to talk about. Honestly, not the biggest week in a lot of things. We're going to talk about an engagement. We're going to talk about some signings, an infection, somebody's hole, unrelated. And we're going to talk about some TV stuff and, whatever else that we do here. So we invite you to chime in with your thoughts. Tell us what you're thinking about all these topics and more by dropping a comment below, specifically on the YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com/smarkoutmoment. You might be listening to us there as it is. If not, go on over there. And when you're on this video, then hit the comments thing, drop a comment. While you're over there, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button, ring that little notification bell, hit the applause button, and hit the join button, which is the same thing as the Patreon. Patreon.com/smarkoutmoment is where you'll find all the different tiers we have. Even $1 is greatly appreciated. It helps us keep things going. It helps me stay motivated. It helps everything else happen like that. And, helps us grow and do some more things. So if you want to take advantage of those different tiers, especially the $10 and up, which is the Dark Casts, the Patreon exclusive episodes, or the Pick Your Poison tier where you get to request what you would like to see us do. For instance, we're going to sometime in the next week or so, we're going to do our request for a fan tracks or fan ounce table, I should say, because that's the version for this website. The fan ounce table of Starrcade 1997. So if you're interested in any of that kind of stuff, go to the Patreon, hit that up, check out the TeePublic and Redbubble if you just want to get some merchandise stuff. If you're more interested in that, ask me or check out the shops yourselves. It's pretty simple. And let's roll along here. Let's just get into these hot tags. I don't even know what the main hot tag is going to be because I didn't sort that out yet. So I don't know where we're going to bounce around, but we're going to just bounce around. And I guess
Love it.
We should start off with the happiest thing. Keith Lee and Mia Yim are engaged. Pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm very happy for them. They seem like a great couple.
Yeah, it's just hearty congratulations to the couple. I wonder if Reckoning will be attending the wedding.
That's
She'll be objecting, I believe.
That's only the part of if anyone has any objections.
Right, that's right.
No, that's why I'm so super happy because, as far as I'm aware, like Mia Yim's dropped off the face of the earth several months ago, and so it's good to see that she's re-emerged as going to be marrying Keith Lee. So that's great.
She was there for a brief minute in that one match.
Yeah.
No, but nobody recognized her.
Except for the referee that was like, Mia, you okay? So yeah, congrats to the happy couple. That's some good news so far to come out of this week. And some bad news, one that really isn't much to talk about, but on the same kind of spectrum of it's a thing, so let's mention it. Braun Strowman's been out of action ever since the Royal Rumble, and it seemed kind of weird that he wasn't in the Elimination Chamber match, but now we know why. He has an infection in his bloodstream. Ugh, that sucks.
He said he lost 15 pounds in 5 days, and
I gotta do that shit.
Yeah, it's pretty scary.
I'm assuming he'll be back soon enough. Obviously not in time for Elimination Chamber, and that's maybe one of the reasons why they didn't book him for that, because they assumed, well, that's a little too hard to push, and let's go with these other names, but I'm assuming he's back by Mania, right?
You'd imagine so.
Yeah.
He's still got no direction right now, but that's probably the same about 95% of the roster, so I'm sure they'll find something for him to do.
The way that booking's been going lately, it might be more than 95% of the roster.
Well, they haven't. That's due to the fact they've just got a massive roster of nobodies.
Well, they got like the one direction that we've got going on right now on television is, are they gonna pick the Royal Rumble winner? Nah. That's the one direction going on right now. We'll talk about TV stuff in a bit. Let's talk about signings. WWE around this time last year, not exactly, February 13th, but, a couple months after this, we ended up getting Black Wednesday. And they fired a whole bunch of people. Well, it seems like they're back to signing people. We had talked before a little bit about AQA, I think is her name, and the guy who looks like Brock Lesnar Jr., Parker Boudreaux. Well, they've signed a couple other people too. One of these being Christian Casanova. Do you guys know anything about him?
He's a GCW guy. He's pretty good,
It's one of those dudes.
Just one of those dudes.
There's
Yeah,
oh, okay, go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't have anything to add in terms of seeing them too closely before. So
There's another Christian, Blake Christian. Don't know anything about him.
So he's another GCW guy. He is the boyfriend of Cora Jade, I believe, the former Elena Black, and he's been working Impact for like the last month, and he's even on their pay-per-view tonight in a number one contenders match for the X Division title. So I'm guessing he's not gonna win. You never know.
That'd be a surprise. WWE's working with Impact too.
The forbidden doors are all open.
All the doors. Although the trademark forbidden window or something, I guess. When one door opens, a window opens, closes, or whatever.
AEW already took care of the door and portal trademarks. So
Portal?
Yeah, Forbidden Door and Forbidden Portal were trademarked by AEW.
At least it's not another gambling thing. So we got one Christian, we got another Christian. And I want to make some kind of a religious joke, but I don't know what his religion is. But the other one that I know about is Bronson, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. Rechsteiner? Is it just Rechsteiner?
I think it's Rechsteiner.
Rechsteiner?
I think because I can't say for certain, but I know that their name is German in origin, so I'd assume that it's Rechsteiner, but I can't say for complete certain.
Oh, whatever it is, it got shortened down to Rick Steiner, and that's how Rick Steiner got his name.
That is their legitimate surname.
Yeah. At the very least, I know I'm not saying it right because I'm not saying it angrily. And that's how I have to say a lot of this. Steiner, kind of like getting the Romstein or whatever.
So son of Rick Steiner, nephew of Scott Steiner, obviously. So I think it's quite interesting that he's been picked up, and not that he would be scouted by WWE due to the fact that he's obviously got a lineage behind him now due to the Steiners, and I assume due to that he's probably very well trained and has been, because they were amateur wrestlers as well, so I assume he's been given that sort of guidance as well growing up. It's more just due to the fact that Scott doesn't have the strongest relationship with WWE.
Yeah, well, fuck that. It's Rick.
And
Rick's the issue, but he is related to Scott Steiner.
Rick's been out of the business for a while. He's been a realtor for a long time. I get emails from him every once in a while. It's weird.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't know. Every once in a while, I'll be like, "Hey, Rick Steiner, just sending out some generic emails for the realtor stuff," and I'm like, if I was in that area, I'd go with him. Maybe I'd just be like, "Hey, Rick Steiner, can you bark?" Kind of like. So, I mean, I don't know anything about Bronson either, but the fact that he's the son of Rick Steiner and the nephew of Scott Steiner, he's got some positives to him already.
Least, I expect some people to be thrown around.
Yeah.
A lot.
Lots of suplexes, maybe too many suplexes, depending on that Triple H match.
Between him and that Lesnar looking guy, Parker Boudreaux, they should just be throwing people around.
Be a tag team and just I don't know, be like the new Colossal Connection or something. I don't know about any other people that they've signed, but if they're doing this, I mean, one report was going around saying that they're like actively trying to sign lots of people now. And I'm kind of like, now I'm wondering, I wonder how many more names we're going to get over the next few weeks. Are we going to get an influx in the women's division? Are we going to get another tag team like we got with MSK or,
Well, Hunter legitimately said this next class will be the most women they have ever signed.
Wonder if
One
that
class.
counts Gigi Dolan
I'm
and
guessing it does.
probably.
I mean, I don't know how close you've been following the financials, but WWE has made more money in this quarter than they've ever done in any quarter in their history.
I don't know
Surprise,
if I don't know if you guys are following Fightful Select, but
Yeah,
they
it's another
also-
story.
Okay, yeah, let's get to that.
Yeah, they can make records and they can, make higher profits than ever, and then they can turn around and say, "You guys don't get bonuses or raises."
Can you imagine working for a place like that? Just in general, any place. I don't care if you're stocking shelves, if you're whatever you're doing. If they say, "Congratulations, all, we've made record profit. By the way, no raises."
Yeah, I am firmly behind all the people that are pissed about this because I would be like, "You've got to be kidding me." A year ago, you fired a bunch of people because you said that you needed to preserve the company, and you've been making record profits ever since then. And now you just got this deal with Peacock, and you're gonna go, "Yeah, we just can't do it." It's like, do you ever meet somebody who does that kind of thing? Like, you ever have a friend who makes more money than a lot of other people, and they're stingier with their cash or anything?
Yep.
Where it's like, oh, you make 80 grand a year. And it's like, I don't know if I can chip in $1 towards tip, guys. And it's like, okay, me with my measly, bankrupt if I go out to eat kind of a thing. I'll make sure that I tip a little bit or something. And you're like, what? It just seems like a running theme. People who have money don't know what to do with money. And
Arguably, though, that's why they have it.
then they
Yeah,
waste
the
it on
rich-
other shit too. So,
I mean, the rich don't stay rich by giving all their money away.
right.
What would be the point of that?
You would think that a company would want to keep its people from being super upset, though.
Yeah.
Well, they don't care about keeping their fan base happy in regards to that. So why would they?
But their fan
avoid
base.
their employees as well.
Yeah, but their fan base isn't helping set up the shows every week.
No, that's true. But I also go along the lines of, well, again, I'm definitely not in any way justifying what they say, but I assume in their mindset they're thinking, okay, well, you can either work for this amount of pay that we're giving you, and we're not going to give you a raise or anything like that, or we can let you go, and your skill set has absolutely no worth outside of the wrestling industry. It's not like AEW is going to pick all of you guys up or anything like that.
Man, it's just brutal.
Well, yeah, because it's just a company that has so many people due to the way they work and in the unique environment they work. They have so many people in their staff completely over a barrel in terms of what they can do with their wages and stuff like that.
Now I'm imagining the way that phrase must have came about. Somebody was just hanging over a barrel one day, and they were like, "This is awful."
Yeah.
This is a bad set of circumstances. I'm over this barrel.
But yeah, I mean, as far as I saw from any of the reports based on this, it's mostly not backstage personnel, but it's people that are just the ring crew and people of that ilk. It's not the actual talent themselves. But then, of course, the talent will be upset about this because they work with these people every single day as well. It's not like they're only friends of people that are actual other wrestlers as well. So I think there's quite a lot of discord going on right now.
Right. Yeah. It's really shitty.
It's the latest in a long line of bad morale.
Yeah, and yet they keep making more money than ever. So,
you know what though, and I don't want to get too deep in the weeds with this particular thing, but I have to compare it to this. They just announced on the news, oh well, they feel that one $1,400 stimulus check should be enough to get people through July. What? Who's calculating the bills of the real life working man? Because it's not working.
This world, I hate it. I hate it so much.
Yeah,
well,
it's just
that's
awful.
the thing. Another thing is that Progress is returning. Progress, this is their report they put up on WWE.com. Progress Wrestling is back. England's biggest independent wrestling promotion returns to action for the first time in nearly a year. For the first time ever! With Chapter 104 Natural Progression premiering Saturday, February 20th, streaming at 3 p.m. ET on the WWE Network. It says it's going to be the start of the 7th Natural Progression Series tournament. I don't really know much about that. And the competitors for this include a bunch of people that I don't know. There's Kid Lycos II, or Kid Lycos 2. I don't know.
Okay. Heard the name? Callum, anything?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't really follow the independent scene that closely anymore, especially in the UK, because there hasn't really been an independent scene in the UK for the last year plus.
There's Elijah.
Yep, still
Just
nothing.
Elijah.
Last name?
Yeah.
Last name?
Elijah last name. There's Big Guns Joe.
No. That's a
Yep,
name.
again,
Yeah.
again, nothing.
Much better than Small Guns Joe, I'm assuming. There's Man Like Derice.
Yep, still no.
What?
Still, yep, still gonna go fish on that one.
Yeah.
Much better than Man Dislike Derice.
Okay.
There's Luke Jacobs.
You would think nothing.
Nope. Ethan Allen.
Name I feel like I've heard. No, wait, that's a furniture store.
Yeah. It's, yeah. For a second, I'm like, wait, Ethan Allen? Okay. There's the Kid Without Fear, Danny Black.
I like it.
And yeah, I don't know anything about him either. And the Nigerian Kaiju, Warren Banks.
All right, so here's what I'm going to assume. We know that like there's a lot of the independent scene was quote unquote dying over there before all the stuff because of Nxt Uk and restrictions and stuff like that. And then Speaking Out happened, right? I'm going to assume that this is the first wave of a new
Batch of
breed
people.
of talent. Yeah, like this is just like the beginning of the new indie scene in the UK.
Yeah,
Because I don't know any of these names.
Yeah, these are people that are probably working in the smaller UK promotions. This is their probably first big step up into one of the major UK independents like Progress or ICW or something of that ilk. And yeah, the Natural Progression series has usually been something which is like a like Ring of Honor used to have those prospect tournaments and stuff like that, or when New Japan does stuff with their young lions and have big shows about that. It's just a bunch of people that are trying to make a name for themselves on the UK independent scene and don't really have too much reputation behind it, and winning a tournament like this is something that would elevate them to that next level.
So now that we've all established that they are nobodies, I'd like to apologize for reacting to the names the way I did, because Big Guns Joe and Man Like Derice might sound like two of the most just like they must be like video game characters making fun of wrestlers, because Big Guns Joe, like it just sounds not real.
I'm going to try to Google some of these names and see what they look like. Because I'm assuming Warren Banks, the Nigerian Kaiju, he's probably big like Babatunde.
Yeah.
He's the one. Again, I don't want to criticize too much, but he's one of the only few ones out of the bunch that I've seen in their images that looks like a wrestler.
All right, I'm looking at Big Guns Joe, and I've only seen him flex, but Big Guns Joe, I feel like he might not be as big. That's his name.
Well, no, he's got pretty. Like, I assume Big Guns Joe is related to the fact that his arms are pretty muscular. Just the rest, he doesn't really have a body to go along with those arms, really.
All right, so I'm looking at the whole poster of all the guys. I'm assuming the Warren Banks dude is the guy with the tattoos on the chest.
Right,
Yeah. Oh my God, he looks. You know how I knew that? Because Callum said he's the one that looks the most like a wrestler.
Admittedly, I can't see all of their bodies and stuff like that, so maybe some of them have a bit more of an impressive physique.
Who's in the middle here?
I assume that's Kid Lycos.
Okay, I see. Actually, I see it on the.
The Kid Lycos is a masked star, apparently.
No, that's the one.
That's what I'm pointing at.
The one with the.
I thought you were talking about the guy in the direct center with the like the track jacket.
No, I assume that's probably, I could only guess, either Luke Jacobs or Ethan Allen or something like that. I
Well,
assume
if
somebody
we
that has
go-
a generic name.
Maybe they're going from left to right because it's Danny Black, Big Guns Joe, Man Like Dries, so he's the guy with the sunglasses on.
Yeah.
So it'd
That's
be Ethan Allen. Then there's Elijah. Then Luke Jacobs, Kid Lycos, and Warren Banks. That would make sense.
Yeah.
Hold on. Elijah's just a generic bald dude.
It's like an Oni Lorcan kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, if we talk about like the actual history of the Natural Progress series, so people that have won it in the past are people like Mark Andrews, Flash Morgan Webster's won it, a couple of former Progress champions, William Eva and Mark Davis, and Tony Storm won the female edition that they've done before in the past as well. So people have done it and then gone on to, well, essentially careers in NXT UK, which is really the only thing that UK wrestlers can really aspire to at this point.
So, not knowing much about this, who you guys got? Who's winning
Warren
this?
Banks.
Yeah, I'd kind of have to go Warren Banks just because the look itself. But then again, it just depends on how good of workers these guys are.
So legitimately, I know that Kid Lycos is getting around and has been doing stuff. So he's one to watch just in that he's been doing stuff. But Warren Banks looks the best. Danny Black looks like he might be able to add to the kicks and flips and dives. And the rest we'll have to see.
Looks like Darius might have been on NXT UK at some point.
As what?
Probably jobber.
I mean, was he Man Like Dries?
Let's see. Cage match. Darius. Man like Darius. He is also known as Darius Gordon. So let's see if he was in a dark match where he teamed as Darius Gordon with Dan Maloney and lost to The Hunt last year in March. And he also did the same thing on NXT UK TV, episode 83, where he lost to Pretty Deadly. Okay, so it looks like he might have Eddie Dennis beat him in 2019 on an NXT UK episode. And then everything else is like Defiant, NGW, FTW, TCW, VFW, or VWF, or whatever the fuck, I don't know. Acronyms. So he's been on NXT UK 3 times. Maybe they like him. Maybe they're gonna go with Dries. I'll be different.
All right.
I'll say him.
So I think it is also important to know that this first chapter, the chapter 104, isn't going to show the whole tournament. It's only going to show the first parts of it, and then the culmination of it will be on the show next week, chapter 105, which will also include, and I'm not making this up, the first ever all-female Thunder Bastard match.
Thunder Bastard?
Thunder Bastard.
I'm sorry, are we doing a review to a kill? What the fuck did you just say?
So a Thunder Bastard match is an original by Progress, you'd be surprised to hear. It's essentially like a gauntlet-style match where competitors enter every 2 minutes and they can only be eliminated by a pinfall, submission, and disqualification. So it's pretty much Aztec Warfare.
Yeah, so Tony, if you didn't watch the Underground, it's a Royal Rumble, but you can pin people instead of throwing them out.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so 7 women will be competing in that. So
I like that. That's exciting.
So I assume they'll be doing that the next week as well. I assume the network will be showing the one the week after, because it would be a bit odd to show like the start of a tournament and then not broadcast the second half of it as well.
I wish that was on the first round because I'm more excited about that than anything else.
I don't know what we're gonna do in regards to this, since it's Saturday and it's the Saturday before Elimination
nothing?
Chamber. I don't think that we're gonna really do anything. We're not gonna do like
How about-
obviously
how
pay per
about
view
if the
predictions
first
and
one
all
is
that.
good? How about if the first one is good, we can talk more about the second one?
Depending on when they do it, everything too.
Well, they're
Yeah,
week
it's
apart.
Saturday,
They're week apart.
Tony.
Yeah.
But it doesn't
Yeah,
say
it's
anything on the website about it.
It says, well, that one's going to be on the Saturday, the 20th of February. The next show, whether it airs on the network or not, it's up in the air, obviously, but it takes place a week later. So either it will be on the network a week later, or it just won't be on the network, but it'll still take place a week later.
Yeah, so if they put it up on the network and we've got, the time to be able to do that or whatever, we might just do like an all-inclusive, this is what those 2 events were type of thing. We might incorporate it into the hot tags. We might just very quickly do something like a dark cast, maybe. I don't know. Something to think about. And of course, that's happening right before Elimination Chamber, so our priorities are going to be Elimination Chamber. But maybe we throw a dark cast on there about reviewing the show afterward or something. I don't know. We'll see. Keep you in tune with that too. And that's my hot tags outside of the TV stuff. Anything else that's going on before we get into the TV content?
Not that I know.
So
Nothing that sticks out in my mind.
let me open up my my TV stuff here. I know that pretty much always nothing really happened on main event. Although, Rob, did you watch it this week?
You know what? I didn't do the main event results. You've reminded me of something I need to do. Thank you, Tony.
So that was the thing. I'm sure it wasn't really all that eventful. 205 Live again, kind of pointless. Dark, just one of those things. I actually haven't seen Dynamite yet, so I don't know what has happened at all. I'm going to try to watch it sometime later today, sometime tomorrow or so. So was there anything that happened that was crazy on Dynamite?
Well, the main event featured Impact wrestlers, a New Japan guy, Jake the Snake. That was pretty crazy. What do you think about Dynamite, Callum?
Dynamite was a fun show, as it typically always is. It's the main event was, I wouldn't say it was like a super awesome match, but it was an awesome spectacle in terms of just fighting all over Daly's place and fighting in the kitchens and John Moxley potatoing a guy with an actual potato. That was fun. AEW does some good stuff with those ones where it still feels like it's a violent contest, but they inject a little bit of humor and comedy into it, and not just plaster it all over like certain WWE style matches that regards like Money in the Bank have done in the past. So I was pleased with that. The Thunder Rosa and Layla Hirsch match was pretty good. I was surprised they would have Layla Hirsch doing some lucha stuff.
That was a great women's match. We need more of that. We need more women just balls to the wall, going for it. That was a great start to the tournament.
Did she do a good lucha thing?
She did an okay lucha thing. It was just a bit out of character for.
Okay.
Because obviously she's like the mat-based grappler type thing. I feel like she's a perfect fit for like Team Taz. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if she has another string to her bow like that, then if she can develop it, then that's great. Other stuff that happened that was pretty good. The Sammy Guevara. This is the first real progression the Inner Circle have had in a while, in terms of just actual storyline thing that I'm actually interested in, with Sammy Guevara walking out.
Yeah, Sammy Guevara quit the Inner Circle, which good. He said one more thing, and I'm out. And MJF tried one more thing. You tried to record him saying that he hates Chris Jericho and he wants to take over the Inner Circle. And Sammy was like, "No, you're not blackmailing me. Yeah, I quit."
Huh.
There was a one thing from a dog that they probably should have played on the actual Dynamite show, which was the acclaimed music video. These guys are stars. These guys are stars in the making if they treat them correctly. They're just so unbelievably charismatic, and they're good in the ring.
I've grown to like them more and more.
Yeah, I wasn't sold on them originally, but these videos, the way they put them out, were so good, and they're gonna make money.
Yeah, but I understand having MJF and Jericho beat them, because again, they are the number one contenders for the tag team titles. They're going to, so yeah, you should have them go over it. These guys will get their shot eventually in the next year or two. They'll be one of the top tag team names in AEW. Got no doubt about that. I'm interested about this tag team title match next week between Young Bucks and Santana and Ortiz. Mainly just due to the fact that there is at least an element of doubt in my mind over whether the Young Bucks will retain. And I think they've done a good job with that, because it would make sense to have an even more splintering of the inner circle by having Santana Ortiz win, and then they're defending the titles against Jericho and MJF.
Be interesting.
I agree.
At Revolution.
I agree.
And then you could easily do the Young Bucks against Gallows and Anderson for the Impact Tag Team titles, depending on, obviously, if Gallows and Anderson retain their titles at the No Surrender pay-per-view that's going on tonight. Or has happened, depending on when this goes out. I obviously don't know about that side of things, but yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if they switch the titles, but that's either way. It's added intrigue to that match that most TV title matches wouldn't have, because you wouldn't expect them to change the title, especially so soon towards a pay-per-view.
Right, and up until Sammy Guevara walked out, when they had announced the match, I was just like, so the Young Bucks will win. But as soon as he walked out and you start to think about the inner circle splitting, I agree. It's actually very, very intriguing to see where they'll go next week.
I would say the one thing that was super disappointing about AEW's AEW Dynamite was the continual spinning the wheels on the Sting stuff.
Did he come out and do nothing again?
Yeah, he came out for an interview with Tony Schiavone. They saw that, then they showed on the camera that Darby Allin, after defending the TV title against Joey Janela in a very good match. I was surprised how good it was, in terms of the fact that they didn't do like a garbage wrestling match. They actually did a proper wrestling match, and it was pretty damn good. They had him trapped in a body bag, and they were dragging him down the parking lot, and Sting went out or essentially sauntered out of the way and just like walked towards the door to go after him, and then we didn't see any of it afterwards. And next week it's announced that Sting will call out Team Taz, which has essentially been the thing for a while.
I'm going to circle back to Sting, but I do want to give Joey Janela and Darby Allin a lot of credit, because their match on Dynamite was fantastic. It was the best Joey Janela match I've seen. And if Joey Janela can do that on a regular basis, then I would love to see more of Joey Janela. Now then, this, so for like the fourth week in a row, they're just like, and Tony Schiavone interviews Sting. Okay, sure. And then he doesn't get a chance to say anything because Taz is like, yo, look who we got. And it's Darby being fucking in a body bag in the back of a truck, and he's just being dragged down the parking lot. And Sting just, yes, and he's old. And he's an old man, and I understand that. And he had the neck issues and the back issues, sure. But my God, this guy just gingerly walks off it, and JR goes, Sting's in hot pursuit. It's like, oh, you could have said fucking anything else. Whatever he is, it's not
Picture.
Whatever that is, pal, it's not hot pursuit. Because he's just like, okay, I guess my segment's over.
So are we at the point yet where this is a Bray Wyatt is just himself in a mask? Where I had said, like, I'm not big on the Sting thing because he's just coming out there and just standing.
No, because we haven't had a match yet. And also, Sting's a bigger deal than Bray Wyatt was. So
yeah, and this is just like, hey, I just think it's cool that you're able to do something because you almost got decapitated. Like,
well, we don't know what Bray Wyatt's done with Sister Abigail.
Like, I'll put it this way: it would be much easier to stomach Bray Wyatt on any other whatever TV show he'd be on if, like, the entire rest of the show, or pretty much 80% of the rest of the show, is enjoyable and I'm enjoying it. And if there's one little thing that says, oh, they didn't do that as well as I'd hoped for, but, you know, the rest of the show was a lot of fun, so that's totally fine. Whereas Bray Wyatt is buried in a miasma of where 95% of whatever show he's on is going to be utter shit. So he's just another shit thing on top of a shit sandwich.
I agree.
I tend to like chicken sandwiches better, burgers.
Oh, yeah,
by the way, wait, you guys...
But there is a certain community of people on Twitter that like swallowing shit sandwiches whole and telling us that, oh, it's so much better than AEW. Why do you guys watch that gay wrestling shit? Just like, yeah, because we don't really want to see, I don't know, a girl, like a grown woman dressed as a 4-year-old girl, like transforming into a magical creature halfway through her matches. It's like, surprisingly enough, that's not really what I got into wrestling to watch.
I was like, for a second, I'm like, wait, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about. I don't think you know what I'm talking about.
It took me a second to realize. So
It's
I'm
okay.
like,
It took him a second. It's okay.
I'm just like, is this kind of weird anime shit?
It is pretty much. That's what WWE is. It's weird anime. Weird anime shit.
Now the anime fans are like,
Look,
you
us
don't
would be a bigger-
understand.
would be a
Anime
bigger
is
deal
great.
then if that was the case.
I'm sure there's some kind of a demon somewhere who controls sand. Blah blah blah.
Hold on. I'm sending you guys something in the Skype chat, and I think we should talk about 205 Live real quick, if only to talk about this blunder.
Oh, is Kurt Stallion involved, is he?
No, just to more so to talk about whomever is in charge of the network, because that just came across my feed. So,
Jake Atlas takes on Tony Nese. Ashanti the Adonis teams with Mansoor to battle Bali Rises, Samir Singh, and Chase Parker.
okay, and what does it say in the actual episode?
Mansoor and Ashanti versus question mark?
Oh Lord!
Why question marks? I mean, I
Because
get that,
it's
like, maybe they wouldn't know
205
who was going to be on the Bali Rise team because they did, Matt Martell and Sunil Singh, although the obvious thing is to go with the people that are listed above. But, that's, goddamn, guys.
I just wanted to talk about that because this show is wide. It's the most irrelevant hour WWE produces. I even think main event is more important.
It's really weird what they've been doing the past year or so with 205 Live. Like, they keep trying things. I'll give them credit, but the things that they try seem the most superfluous. Like, for some reason right now, the Bollywood Boys and Everrise are trading off tag team partners. Why?
Because they fought each other for 10 weeks straight, Tony.
But then it's like, well, now they're kind of a foursome? What? Why?
Yeah.
Where's this leading? You both lost in the Dusty Cup, and now you're just like, I don't know, I guess we'll swap partners, swingers or something? Is that the gimmick now?
Hey, whatever
I
floats
mean,
your boat.
Yeah, it means that at least they're getting on TV in some form every single week by doing that. So, can't blame them.
Some other TV stuff that we could talk about. NXT UK, not much going on there. Miko Satomura popped up though. That's good.
She's awesome.
She had a little thing say that she wanted to go for the title, which is, we've been saying before, beat her. Beat Kaylee Ray. Put the title on Miko Satomura.
Actually, Io Shirai just told, I think it's Sports Illustrated, that she's like, yeah, I want to fight Miko Satomura at WrestleMania. I was
I
like,
don't think that's happening.
I'd fucking watch that. Yeah.
And I mean, that's definitely not going to happen. But
I'd watch it. Like,
well, I'd be happy to see it on NXT one day. That'd be totally fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's an excellent women's wrestler. She has a lot of experience behind her. She was obviously involved in one of the Mae Young Classics. I think she was in the second one.
Yep.
And yeah, she got pretty far in that. I think she got to the semi-final, right?
Semi-final. She lost to Tony Storm.
Yeah, and yeah, so she's awesome. I'm glad that she's, I guess, for the time being at least, has moved temporarily to the UK so she can do stuff there and actually work NXT UK. So yeah, that's excellent news. And I'm not one of those people like Tony that thinks that it's so desperate that you need to get the title off Kaylee Ray right now. But she's as good a choice as anybody to take the title off of her.
To be fair, I think they should have taken that title off of her months ago.
They probably should have. Piping in probably should have won it.
Yeah, she really should have. She should have won it with the whole Tony Storm thing. And then they were like, let's wait. And then, of course, COVID happened. And then they're like, oh, we're finally back. Nah, let's have 3 more matches and she'll lose all of them or whatever. I don't understand it. This is a weird episode, though. This episode was like, hey, Danny Luna's there. Remember her? Hey, Aoife Valkyrie's here. Remember her? Hey, Shaw Samuels is with Noam Dar. They're going to eventually work towards NXT UK Heritage Cup match with A-Kid. Nina Samuels is going to fight Zai Brookside for the 9th match. Trent Seven's losing weight. Piper Niven beat a male. What else we got? Joe Coffey and Rampage Brown are going to fight each other. And South Wales Subcultures beat the Hunt in a street fight. So, whatever. Not the biggest episode that's there. On the NXT side of things, we got some further developments with the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic tournament, which of course we referenced with our pay-per-view predictions. So now we know for sure it is MSK beating Legado del Fantasma, Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart beating The Way, and Grizzled Young Veterans beating Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa. So we're getting Grizzled Young Veterans against MSK, and we're getting Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez against Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. Same kind of opinions we had before, though, right, guys?
Well, let's talk about this. They finally announced, and the winners of the Women's Dusty Cup will get a tag team title shot.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, they have to be that way. I think both these matches. I know we have similar opinions. We've already said what we've had in the predictions when we did the NXT predictions thing that you can watch. Obviously, go back and watch it if you haven't already. I think these matches are very up in the air though, which is good.
Yep.
Like either team could win, and it kind of makes sense.
I don't know. I don't recall what I predicted on the predictions, but I will say now that I know the women are getting a title shot, I think it's Shotzi and Ember win, and I think I'll still go with MSK because the current champions are heels.
Yeah, I'm sticking MSK, but I'm actually sticking with Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez.
Yeah, I think I went with Raquel and Dakota, but I thought that it was like it's very much a 60-40 type thing. I think even shorter than that, maybe 55-45 really. I'm going to stick with my Grizzled Young Veterans thing. I think that MSK aren't going to win the first time out, and I think it's actually strengthened my resolve even more with the fact that they put the Grizzled Young Veterans into the final. I kind of feel like if you were going to go MSK winning, you would do it over Ciampa and Thatcher because it makes it feel like a bigger deal if they beat them. So I actually feel even more confident that Grizzled Young Veterans will win.
We also know now that the Gargano match is still on. So
I
was a fun
told
segment.
you.
yeah.
I liked it. I did like it, but I knew I was like, wait a minute, something's not right here. They're having Theory announce that Gargano's out.
A fun little segment with William Regal being like, all right, well, Theory can replace you. And he's like, absolutely not. Or you can relinquish the title. Oh, absolutely not. Kind of thing. Like,
yes, that was fun. It was all fun until Dexter Lumis got involved.
I still don't know why they have him as a part of this right now. It just seems like it's already showing that Kushida's not going to win and Lumis is going to get the next title shot.
Can I ask this as well? Because you know how they pipe in like crowd noise and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think they ever got a recording of people chanting Dexter Lumis? And
Oh,
how
they
much do you
did
think they had to
that
pay
themselves.
those people?
No, they did that themselves. Well,
Uh,
they're not getting bonuses, but hey, we'll put you on our show. You could trade next to Lumis.
yeah.
They
I
had
just
one
don't feel
person
like-
do it and they just keep doubling it up.
I mean, this is a guy that's like is supposedly like kidnaps people and has an army of zombies that he can call on at any point in time to attack people. But even though that is the most unbelievable thing about him is that he's had people that has chanted his name before. Like that's the most unbelievable part of Dexter Lumis' entire character.
You know what else is unbelievable? The amount of luck that Cameron Grimes has had in the stock market.
Oh my god, this was the best segment I've seen in a long time.
He's doing the whole thing with GameStop and Dogcoin, as he said.
This guy said, I gave money to GameStop because years ago, not even just like, oh, I magically listened to Reddit. Like, nah, years ago, I started playing video games and I realized, hey, I can just play these games and I want to give my money to this place. And then after he says he made it rich on GameStop, he says, and then they made this money for dogs. It's called Dogcoin. Fucking hysterical.
It's ridiculous. I loved it.
It's amazing.
It's good character progression for a guy who is always going to be a bit of just comic relief on NXT, but at least this is an evolution of the character. And yeah, he's basically Jamie Noble in 2003 now, where Jamie Noble won the lottery and got to just parade India around in a big fur coat and stuff like that. And I assume Cameron Grimes won't do the route with the money, which is trying to pay Tori Wilson to sleep with him. But I guess there are worse things to spend your money on.
You never know. She's around. She's at the Rumble.
We also got some more clarification about this whole thing with Xia Li. We know now that the woman that is potentially 1,000 years old, whatever, that's Mi Ying. Or is it Mei Ying? Mei Ying. I thought so, yeah. And Qiansha is now what they're referring to as the force of nature. That is this whole thing. So they're kind of calling the stable Qiansha.
The faction is Tiancha.
And Mei Ying is the woman that's there. We still don't know who necessarily is playing Mei Ying. It's still more than likely is Karen Q, but who knows, because she's covered in so many things you can't even see like an inch of her face. And Xia Li kicking some ass again, doing some great stuff, beating Cora Jade. Still liking it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm liking the Xia Li's part of it. I didn't really like so much that somehow out of nowhere, Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter finally realised that this is what Xia Li's been doing.
And they've been busy. They had to deal with the Dusty Cup, they're a little busy.
They were partying. They weren't wearing masks. It was.
I just love the fact that they go up to us like, this isn't Xia. This is not what she's like. And just like, yeah, this is better. This is Xia when she's winning matches. It's like, why would you want to put her back to where she's just a lovable loser?
She's pretty lovable though.
She's a lot more lovable now than she's just a complete arse kicker. She's great. She's believable. I also like the fact that seemingly Mei Ying is controlling Xia by beating the shit out of Boa. Seems to be the crutch, because she has at one point she had hold of Boa and was choking him and stuff like that, and that compelled Xia to start beating up the other girls more. So that seems to have to be the control over her.
Hey, look, we don't kink shame here.
Are you intimidated by a strong woman, Tony?
Mei Ying,
well, we don't kink.
She's 1,000 years old. I ain't fucking with that.
We don't kink shame.
I mean, there's something to be said about an older woman, Tony. Very experienced. Imagine what you could get done in 1,000 years.
If you have any ideas of what you can get done in 1,000 years, drop a comment below and keep that discussion going, because that's pretty interesting. I didn't plan on going from that to this, but let's talk about Nia Jax. Because we're going to circle back to Monday Night Raw. We talked some stuff, I guess, kind of here and there. We're going to talk more of it. I mean, I think that we're going to save most of the Monday Night Raw discussion and SmackDown discussion from when we talk about Elimination Chamber. But one thing that we got to address here, Nia Jax has her tables match with Lana. You know, the match that they should have had at the tables pay-per-view in December, but where Lana was just removed out of the equation for Charlotte Flair to have a pointless tag team title reign. Whatever. But in the match, Nia Jax goes for a leg drop, falls down on her ass, and screams out, "Ow, my hole." And I'm watching it with Caroline, and my eyes dart up at the ceiling, not the ceiling, at the TV from my computer. And I look up because I'm like, I gotta see what just happened because I didn't hear that right. And she moves her head to the side to look at me, and she goes, "Did she just say my hole?" And I was like, I think she did. I don't know why. Let me rewind this and see what happened. And she said my hole. This is stupid.
Well, hold on. Because she hits the bump on the apron. By the way, she's destroyed Lana this entire time. It's her ass on the apron, and not a lot of people caught this, but she actually goes, "My butt!" I was like, wait, no. And then she's, "My hole!" I was like, okay. This isn't good. But
And Lana just pushes her through table.
Lana pushes her through the table. A poor thing finally wins the big one. And all anybody's talking about is Nia Jax said my hole. That's poor Lana in that regard. But Nia Jax just made $1 million off of my hole. She can do my hole gags for the rest of her career. She can do cameo based on my hole, and she's a millionaire off of my hole. Wrestling is weird, man.
I hate it so much, and I hate that they referenced this again on SmackDown, because you know that they're gonna just run this into the ground.
Well, the whole Lana table thing seems like Nia Jax's speciality. Then they'd be involved in angles where they just run at the same joke over and over at you for months and months at an end until it's not funny and it doesn't go anywhere. Like, how this ended? A hole in a pole match? Is that how it's going?
Well,
I don't know how the physics work, but
Paddle in
I
my
mean-
hole match or something instead. Like that.
I mean, they got rid of the Raw Underground dancers because I didn't think they didn't want the hole on a pole, but you know, who knows?
I mean-
Michael Cole in a hole in a pole. Just
I mean, that's the. I mean, that's the way that Rob described it. Is basically how it was. But that's the thing that I find most interesting about it is the fact that she does like scream my butt as soon as she makes impact, and then it's like a couple of seconds before she says my hole.
Not only
Which
that,
makes me-
but she gets mad, pushes the table over, and it's fine for a second, and then just goes, "My hole!" Like what?
Yeah, which makes me fully understand that she was aware of what she was saying.
Yeah,
She
no.
knew that it would get that reaction, so that's why she said it. And also something that you just pointed out that I didn't really think of. Maybe she said that because she knew she was losing, and thought, "Well, I'm not letting Lana get the limelight out of this. So I'm going to do something which actually means that anyone's going to be talking about me about at the end of this rather than her." Because Nia Jax does seem to me as somebody who kind of wants to keep the attention on her.
see this. If this is just a one random ass thing, random ass thing. If this is
My
just
hole!
totally random, then that's one thing. But the fact that she also had done that whole thing about, oh yeah, she's gonna have boobs on her back. Either she's making these lines up and making herself laugh, and Vince is laughing, or somebody else is feeding her these lines, and she and Vince think that it's great.
Yeah.
Somebody thinks that this is hilarious for sure, and it's one of
Alright,
them's
but-
got to be Vince.
In fairness, though, this one was funny. They're gonna
It's
run
probably
into
the first
the
time you
ground.
see it. Yeah.
They were gonna run into the ground, no doubt about it. But this isolated incident was pretty funny.
I didn't laugh, to be honest. I was just sort of like, I'm not into slapstick humor. So when somebody's like, ow, my butt, I'm like, well, you shouldn't have fucking landed on your ass then. Like, just sort of, you know.
I mean, I enjoyed the memes off the back of it. The memes
My
were
favorite
good.
one that I've seen so far was the Simpsons ones that people have been doing, because of course Simpsons ones are great. But
Somebody made a beat to it, and Josiah Williams rapped over it. It was fantastic.
really,
Yeah, it's good shit.
Russell Flo. Yeah, that's the thing that happened on Raw. They did a lot of stuff to build to Elimination Chamber because, hey, look at that. Elimination Chamber is coming up next week. So they were like, at this match and that match, and this is happening, and those people are announced, and this is happening, and that's whatever. We'll talk more about some specifics, like why was Shane there? Because.
That one
Because they
pissed me
thought it
off.
would attract people in the first hour or whatever to see him, and then he would go away because they actually had nothing really planned for him.
But is this going to be a recurring thing? Because they've been trying.
I mean, Shane's going to wrestle WrestleMania. We just don't know who it is yet
Why? Like, for what purpose?
because there's people in there. It's the same
Alright,
reason
fair.
why you'd get anybody else in that is relevant in their entire roster full of irrelevant people.
That's fair. Would you watch Shane McMahon versus Adam Pearce?
I mean, I'd watch it. I'd have to.
I know it's kind of like.
But like, do you think you'd get any enjoyment out of Shane McMahon versus Adam Pearce?
Probably not.
I mean, Shane could go through something. That's always fun.
Yeah,
See Shane take one more year off his life. That's fine. It's like that's the reason why he's there. But
How old are his kids? Are they hitting the age where they can start jumping off of things on WWE television?
At least one of them's
I think
probably
they're-
around like 15 or something by now, right?
Yeah, I'd imagine they're pretty. Yeah, I mean, how old were they at WrestleMania 32? How old were they when they came out for the Undertaker match? Because they looked like they're about 8 or 9 around that then.
Yeah, probably.
That was about 4 or 5 years ago, so they're probably hitting into.
I think the oldest one might be 16, 17. So we might be seeing at least the oldest start making the rounds on television within a couple of years here. That, I think, is when the McMahon stuff might actually get fun again, when it's like Shane's kids and Stephanie's kids, because at least like it'll be a new generation of it, and there's a whole bunch of sibling rivalry you can play off of. But
Bray Wyatt will
don't know.
abduct the one of them, and
well, that's
mean-
how you're finally gonna get that Bray Wyatt Triple H match.
I mean, I'm kind of hoping they're bought by NBC by that point. So
But what the fuck would that do? NBC would be like, yes, do this.
well, I assume they wouldn't allow so much control over it by just one person. They'd at least have some sort of executive over the top of it saying, yeah, I don't kind of think that's exactly what they want at this point. I mean, they would put Triple H in control, and Triple H would probably say, nah, that seems stupid.
Well, we had a couple other things that were stupid, but I still think that the stupidest thing was the Nia Jax thing. But we followed that up actually with something on Raw Talk that I thought was kind of funny. If you thought that Nia Jax saying "my hole" was interesting, well, Charlie Caruso's got something to say. She is great. I love Charlie Caruso, and she had a great thing, a slip up, however many weeks or whatever ago it was
the
where
Royal Rumble.
with the 9/11 747
Oh.
championship thing. I thought that she couldn't top that. Well, she ended up saying with Damian Priest, DP. Like the sound of that? And people jumped on that immediately, of course.
Well, no, the best thing about that is that as soon as she said it the first time and they had that reaction, you knew she was aware of it because she doubles down on it repeatedly by saying a load of other stuff about how DP's great and DP's awesome and all that other stuff. And so at that point she knows what she said and she's leaning into it rather than just trying to completely cover her tracks, which I appreciate.
Charlie Caruso is fantastic, and I still think the daddy stuff at the Royal Rumble was a little bit funnier just because she flat out said, "Oh, I'll go there." Like, okay. Charlie Caruso is, if nothing else, she at least has a personality.
Yeah, she's great. SmackDown, we got some stuff about Elimination Chamber we'll talk about next week with our predictions. Anything else that I think that went on? We got Seth Rollins coming back, and he's just Seth Rollins again.
Oh, I want to hear Callum talk about this. Go ahead, Callum.
Oh, what do you want me to say about it?
Well, no, you just didn't like it. I want you to air your grievances.
Okay, so he's back. They gave him they gave him his old music back, so he's got to burn it down, which is a better thing. But then he comes down to the ring, and you feel like, okay, so he's had a kid now. Maybe this is a good chance to redirect his character. He's been away for a few months. The Messiah thing was crappy in the first place, so let's do something else. No, he just stands to the ring, says that he wants to be the leader of the locker room again, and he wants to mentor everyone else around it. First of all, why the fuck was everyone else surrounding the ring?
Because you got to make it seem like it's important.
Okay, why were, and I'm named particularly here, why were Rey Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio, and Buddy Murphy surrounding the ring?
To remind you that Buddy Murphy's okay, and say, hey, look, it's Rey and Dominic.
Like, why would they be hearing him out whatsoever?
I know Seth Rollins is like a multi-time world champion or everything along those lines, but it doesn't feel like a massive deal that he's back. And I don't feel like the locker room would think that it's a massive deal that he's back. And now he's seemingly going to be feuding with Cesaro, probably going to feud with Daniel Bryan heading into WrestleMania, which is going to be good matches. It's fine. I just want something different. Like, there was a period of time in 2018 and 2019 where Seth Rollins was like the most on-fire guy in the entire company. He was just kicking out of great matches every single week. He was really connecting with the audience in a way that he hadn't done in, well, at least in his initial run as a babyface coming out of like the Universal title stuff. And then he just turns into this character, and you just lose all of that. And I don't want to see it continue. So that's kind of all I can say about it.
I think that the reason they gave him the music back is for when they need to quickly pivot to a babyface for Roman to fight. Maybe not at WrestleMania, maybe not the month after, but at some point they're going to need to go, Seth, get in there.
Yeah.
Because they have nobody. And giving him the burn it down was a quick way to go, you know what? People are coming back into the stadiums. They're going to want to chant burn it down. Let's start making this turn now. Because he came back at the Royal Rumble and he did not have that music.
Did he have the other one? I don't remember.
Yeah. He came out with the Messiah music, yeah.
Huh.
So yeah, I assume that could be a direction they're going to go with. But I don't know what it.
I like the idea of Cesaro. Cesaro's cool. He deserves to finally get a big time push and get some major singles matches.
Oh,
I
he had a
mean-
really good promo on Smack Talk. So
On Smack Talk?
yeah, he cut a
Talking smack.
promo about talking about how much he loves professional wrestling, and he believes how people that if you follow your passions and you work really hard and you believe in yourself, then things will happen and things will work out for you. So it's basically, again, it's like a very basic, similar to a message, but the way that he delivered it was very strong. So I'm hoping that he gets the title shot at Fastlane.
I don't like that Sami Zayn's in the chamber. Not that I think anything's wrong with Sami Zayn. Obviously, he's a great character. But this seems like one of those spots could have gone to Nakamura.
I mean, I'm sure we'll obviously talk about that in probably more detail when it comes to like the actual Elimination Chamber stuff. So I don't really want to linger on it too much. But yeah, at least SmackDown went with the route of qualifying matches rather than, hey, here are all the guys that are in the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah. Again, it's
So,
easy thing to do to set up a lot of things. Next week, they're going to be doing some kind of a gauntlet match to determine who's the last in the Elimination Chamber on Raw.
You guys
It's like-
act like Raw has 3 hours to kill or something. Like, can't you just accept that
I mean, this is a SmackDown trope as well at this point, in that, oh, it's the start of the year, let's do a bunch of gauntlet matches.
Yeah, this is a wrestling trope. I think, what was it, ever since WWE Elimination Chamber 2018, where it was like, all right, Rollins had that 2-hour gauntlet match. Let's do gauntlet every year. And then somebody will have a make or break moment off of it.
I mean, yeah, just don't get me wrong, it's a good way to kill an hour of television. But yeah, it does just feel like it happens at the very start of the year, and then you don't hear about it until around about January or February time, when especially it leans into the Elimination Chamber stuff quite heavily.
Yeah, so we'll figure that out. We'll talk about those on the hot tags as well. And I think that's it.
I'm going to do one more go around just to make sure.
In the
Yeah,
meantime,
nothing
I
crazy.
will toss out some plugs because I didn't mention fanboysanonymous.com. If you want to check out what's happening on the non-pro wrestling side of things, the geek culture spectrum, go on over to Fanboys and you will check out all the different things that's happening there. Some of it's on the video game stuff, some of it's TV, most of it's movies, some of it's comic books. One of the things that we've been doing recently is the James Bond film franchise breakdown, which is called A Review to a Kill. We've already recorded and uploaded everything leading up to You Only Live Twice. We just recorded on Her Majesty's Secret Service. So I'm going to be editing that, and that's going to be posted in the next few weeks as well. We're going to do Diamonds Are Forever next and go through the rest of those movies. So if you're a Bond fan, check out those. Goldfinger just was up on yesterday, so that's the most recent one. Check that out. And obviously show some support for all the other things that are happening on Fanboys Anonymous. Check out the YouTube channel. Check out the Twitter, the Facebook, the blah, blah, blah. Just start clicking around and you will see lots of different things there, including the merchandise shops. I already mentioned that for Smark Out Moment, but they're there for fanboys as well. So go ahead and do that. Check out my stuff on eWrestling News and Bleacher Report that I've got. 'Cause I got plenty of those articles coming up as well. I'm at Tony Mango. These guys are all over the place as well, too. Rob, you seen any other kind of hot tags we should talk about?
No, nothing on the hot tags, but I will say that tonight with Impact Wrestling's No Surrender, and tomorrow with NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day will be very eventful shows. Fightful will have you covered. Go to Fightful, subscribe to Fightful Select, check out WrestleZone.com, check out everything else going on at Smark Out Moment. Check me out on Twitter at Dude Felice, and check out the Paul Heyman SmackDown podcast, which is coming up later this evening. I might even be up before this one.
Probably
And
be up before
Callum,
this.
What's on that one?
So on the most recent edition that we've done of the Paul Heyman SmackDown podcast, it was episode 34, which revolved around so it was mainly just like a wrestling heavy show. We had Eddie Guerrero against Shelton Benjamin, Edge against Charlie Haas, Chris Benoit against A-Train, Brock Lesnar against John Cena in the main event. He also did
Ooh.
another What's in the Box segment with Undertaker involving Canyon, of all people, this time.
Who's better?
Well, at this night he definitely wasn't better. He wasn't well by the end of it either, as well, unfortunately. But
Hey,
you'll
did you
hear
know
us
the Grand
talk-
Canyon as a whole? Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, so if you want to hear us talk about Canyon's brief return in WWE, then you'll be able to listen to that episode as well as all the other news and stuff we talk about those times. The episodes are running short at this point in time. There's going to be only a few more episodes left to go, so make sure you check them out while you can. Other than that, check out all the articles on smarkatmoment.com. Power Rankings is my domain, but check out all the other stuff as well. And follow me on Twitter at Wigmeister14.
I do want to note in that episode, Taz has to be reminded that somebody's dead. That was probably my favorite part of the show.
That somebody's dead?
Yeah.
Somebody's fake dead.
Well,
Somebody's fake
He's
dead.
not really dead. He's not really dead.
Well,
as one
at least
does.
not that.
You know? So anyway, that stuff's happening. Of course, the next thing beyond that is the Vengeance Day coverage. So that'll be up on smarkoutmoment.com. We'll be having all the typical posts all over the place, as well as the post-show pay-per-view point podcast. There's too many P's in there. The pay-per-view point podcast post-show popping up your way after the power rankings and other other kind of things. Pump. That'll happen tomorrow. We'll see you then. I don't know. I'm all over the place, but at least I'm going to be here tomorrow with that pay-per-view point, and hopefully you will join us for that. Hopefully you enjoyed this edition of the Hot Tags a day late. Sorry for that, but we'll see you next time, everybody. For now, this has been another Smark Out moment, and we're being counted out.